presented to you by Great Southern Bank and coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio. And we welcome in longtime friend of the show. We had him on a couple of different times back in his high school days at Link Academy, but we welcome Kansas City Kansas State assistant basketball coach, Rodney Perry. Coach Perry, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And Coach, we've got some connections here with Missouri Sports Network with, Johnny McNeil's our marketing guy, and he's at Community Partnership of the Ozarks. And our president and founder is Darren Archer, who was a head coach at Southwest Baptist University, and you were his assistant as well. But kind of take us through your journey from, Fort Smith, Arkansas. I'm going way back. I did some study because I first became aware of you when you were a player for Charlie Spoonhour,
right,
at Missouri State, then SMS. But kind of take us on that journey between then and then on July 27th of 22 being named assistant coach at Kansas State.
Yeah, it's been kind of wild and crazy, journey. One I'm grateful and thankful for. Two, wouldn't change a thing to be where I am today. But especially growing up, in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And starting my coaching career at 14 years old. So I kind of always knew what I wanted to do, as a profession growing up. But I love the game of basketball. And then went to junior college out of high school. And my athletic director was Coach Spoonhour's college roommate. And so he used to, hit me up every day. Coach Spoonhour called about me. He loves his guard. He really loves you. Wants to be part of, the Bears. So when I went on my visit and fell in love with Coach and the program there at Southwest Missouri State at the time, now Missouri State, but and had 2 great years at Missouri State, and was able to make the NCAA tournament, win a championship there in Springfield, and just fell in love with the place. Still have a house there still to this day, too, and love the program. There, and hopefully one day, hope to be back there coaching on the sideline for the Bears. Is one of my dreams and goals. Too, and being able to start a AAU program out of Kansas City with MoCan. That's one of Nike sponsored teams, and we've had a lot of success. Arguably the number 1 AAU program in the country. So I was able to be one of the founders of that and win 3 of the prestigious Peach Jam championships, which is the national tournament. Won 3 in the last, 6 years. So we've been able to do that, and starting, a high school prep school in Branson, Missouri, Link Academy, to go coincide with the post-grad program, Link Prep, with Adam Danye, was really amazing adventure, and being able to start that program and play in the Geico National Tournament championship game in year number 1, and was able to have 3 All-Americans, recruit 3 All-Americans in to the great town of Branson, Missouri. Was a pretty monumental stature that I'll never forget. To receiving a phone call from Coach Tang, here at Kansas State when he got the job, and was calling me and offered me a job here and wanted me to come and be assistant coach and run the offense for our team here, and just being able to go to Elite 8 this year after we got picked to finish last in the Big 12, and so it's just been many blessings that have been stored up for my life that I'm forever be grateful for.
Little known fact, but I believe your first coaching position was the offensive coordinator on a football team.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. So I've always had a little bit of offense in me from day one.
Yeah. And Coach, go back to those people that have really kind of formed your coaching style. Some of those guys you come across, and obviously you've been at several places with, Avila or Roberts, and you were at Purdy High School and Miller High School, which is kind of my connection because I was in the Miller School District as a student. Not when you were there, because I'm a lot older than that, but kind of take us through those folks that have kind of molded your coaching style.
Wow, it's been a lot. Really going all the way back to my high school days playing for Doug McKinney at Fort Smith Northside, and going on to junior college at West Ark and playing for Doc Sadler And then going on and playing at Missouri State for, Coach Spoonhour, Hall of Fame coach, as well. And then also had opportunity to go coach at Willard, was my first high school coaching job with George Wilson, who's also another Hall of Fame, basketball coach, too. And then going on to Central High School there in Springfield with, Denny Hunt, which was also a lot of fun, to do that. And then going over, like you said, at Purdy High School, being a head coach, there, and being a head coach at Miller High School, and then being an assistant coach at Southwest Baptist with Coach Archer was a lot of fun, too. And just me being able to go to these different places, and I learned quite a bit. It really helped mold me to where I am today. And then obviously going on to the Division I level at Duquesne University, and being a assistant coach there, then going on to Oral Roberts and being assistant coach there, and was the head coach at Alva University in Kansas City, and then I was fortunate enough to work for Billy Donlin at UMKC, also there in Kansas City. Before coming to here at Kansas State, and Coach Tang he's unbelievable. His leadership and his mentor uh, towards our program here has been, one that I would definitely take and be able to improve, as a coach each and every day.
And Coach Perry, before we talk about this phenomenal Elite Eight run, if the 2023 Coach Perry could go back to that 1987 senior in high school, or 88, 89, Rodney Perry, and give yourself some advice based on what you know right now, what advice would you give yourself? If you could go back and kind of say, hey, don't take this so hard, or what's some advice you would give yourself?
Well, that's actually a great question. I think the number one advice that I think I would give myself would be patient. That's the number one thing, and I've always been a hardworking guy, so always going to continue to work hard, but be patient, because sometimes you want things to happen, right away, and sometimes the patient pays off. Just continue to stay the course, and that's what we constantly preach to our guys, to and stay confident. That would be the other thing. Stay confident, because sometimes when things don't go quite the way that you want to go, as fast as you want it to go, sometimes people lose confidence. Too. But just stay patient and keep working as hard as you possibly can work, and just understand that God has a plan for each and every last one of us, and God's going to provide what He wants you to do.
Now, this Elite Eight run was, you hate to say Cinderella time, though, especially the way it ended up with the
Yeah.
Final Four, with a lot of Cinderellas. I don't know that there are that many slippers out there, but as you look back at your run and just the blue bloods that you took down on your way to Florida Atlantic, I mean Montana State, okay, well they get Kentucky and Michigan State.
Mhm.
Talk about what that was like, what that atmosphere was like, and what the Garden was like.
Well, first, just being able to coach in the NCAA tournament was a dream and a goal, especially after being able to play in it. And so knowing that we knew we was going to be in the NCAA tournament, we didn't know quite where we was going to be playing at or who we was going to be playing against, and just getting our guys just really prepared to be focused on one game at a time, because that's the biggest thing, is it's one game at a time. And so when we went to Greensboro, North Carolina, in the East region, and started out first with Montana State, we knew that our guys had to understand every team in the NCAA tournament is a good team, and every team in the NCAA tournament can beat you. So that's why we just made sure that you cannot look ahead. You have to focus in on one game, one possession, at a time. And so going in there and playing, Montana State, which was a great atmosphere, and we have a great fan base. K-State has a great fan base, so our fans travel, and so we knew we was going to have a great fan base for us also, and we just wanted to make sure that we went out there and performed up to our ability. And our guys took that, to heart and was able to go out there and win that first one. They always say the first one is always the hardest to get, too. And so once we won the first one, we was like, okay, now we can really, really lock in and anything's possible. And then knowing that we was going to play Kentucky the next game, we knew that we didn't even have to motivate our guys for that. I mean, you get a chance to play against Kentucky, so, therefore, we was all excited to be able to, go play against, Kentucky and play that game. And our guys played, really well. And it was my scout. So I was, extremely pumped to be able to, have the opportunity to prepare our guys, for that with our staff. And our guys followed the game plan, and, we was able to win that game and be able to come back to another big celebration, too, knowing that we was in the Sweet 16 and knowing we was going to play Michigan State, Coach Izzo squad, and all the tradition that they have there. And, Coach made sure that our guys knew we have tradition here the same way that they have tradition. And we got dudes on this team the same way they got. So that was, pretty exciting to be able to go play Michigan State in the Sweet 16 to be able to get to the Elite Eight, as well. And so, but the journey was just unbelievable, experience, and one I'll never forget. I'm actually even hungrier to get back and get to that Final Four, though.
Yeah, what's that like coming out of, then you take on a Florida Atlantic team, but you're coming out of a Michigan State team that was physically draining, emotionally draining. You've got Noel with the ankle injury, and you played overtime.
Yes.
So you're in a situation where you may be a little bit spent, emotionally and physically going into that game. Was that a thought process or a concern going?
Not really, because we have a great strength and conditioning coach, here in Phil Bauer, and he really has prepared our guys for, anything really, to be able to play whatever it takes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it may be, and we'll use the next day to recover, and we'll be able to get back at it, the following day. And so, that part wasn't, anything that we wasn't, unexpected. But teams, players are banged up this time of year after you done played 30 something games, and knowing that we was also playing in Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball, too, and we had 4 guys from New York on our team, too, and so, and then with Marquise, there was no doubt in our mind if he was going to play or not, because he's going to play. He's just a warrior. His heart over height. He that's his motto. So, there's nothing in the world was going to keep him out of that game, no matter how bad it was going to be. If he could walk, he was going to play. And so, and he played extremely well, too. We played a really good Florida Atlantic team. They had more wins than any team in the country, too. And so, which that game was a back and forth game, came down to one possession, as well. And they just ended up making, 2 more plays than what we did, and was able to get them to the Final Four. And so we was, disappointed that we couldn't get there, this year. But as we look back on everything that we accomplished this year with a team that, we started out with 2 players this season, that we had to, coach had to come in and put a whole new staff together and a whole new team. And like I said, to be able to finish it up in Elite Eight, which no one gave us a chance to be there, and no one even expected us to be there, was, pretty exciting along the journey too.
So now, what are your responsibilities now? I would assume, hitting recruiting trail, things of that nature. What's Rodney Perry up for the next 3 or 4 months?
Well, we're already hitting the recruiting trail right away. We have dudes that we have to replace. We have 2 All-Americans that we have to replace. And then we're used to winning. So we got to go get some guys that's going to be able to come in and help us continue winning, and get us, to that Final Four, because we're not satisfied. We're not going to pat ourselves on the back or anything like that, because we feel like we still have a lot more to accomplish, a lot more to do. So we'll be hitting the recruiting trail, quite a bit, and, trying to make sure we can have a roster that can compete not only for a conference championship, but for a national championship.
Have you had an opportunity maybe to kind of follow along with what Link Academy's doing? Now they're down at the Geico National Championships. They won the Tournament of Champions at the basketball Tournament of Champions. Are you able to kind of stay up to date with them?
Oh, for sure. I follow them quite a bit. so I still have players on the team that I recruited there and coached there, and so I've watched pretty much almost all their games this season, and looking forward to seeing them play, this Thursday, too, at Geico, and always constantly talking to those guys, and cheering those guys on, and tell them, hey, we need to get it done this year. At Link, we came one game away from it, so they're going to have that opportunity to be able to get it done, and I'm excited for them, and looking forward to watching them play, at Geico.
All right. Well, Coach Perry, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know you're coming off of a whirlwind couple of weeks, and just to be generous with your time and to join us here on the Missouri Sports Network. And you've always been good to come on, and I appreciate it greatly.
No, I appreciate you having me. It's always been fun.
All right. Kansas State assistant basketball coach Rodney Perry here on the Missouri Sports Network. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart.